East Side Fire, all the way up to Snoqualmie Pass,
That's a big local.
Skycomish, Bothell, Mercer Island,
That's local?
Kirkland.
You have to cover all of them?
No, we don't. Our dispatch center.
Oh, right.
is,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
what, like 10,
King
15
County.
agencies?
East Fire.
9 fire agencies.
Yeah.
Plus Bellevue Police, Clyde Hill Police, Kirkland Police, Duval Police. So they have a big jurisdiction, and that's our local dispatch center. So at all the parks in King County, just remember that Trilogy Trails, Redmond Ridge Trails, and the Watershed Trails is the only trail system in King County that has markers. So it's something to be proud of. So most dispatchers would not ask about markers along the trail system. So we're also training our dispatchers to ask those questions. So that was the reason. Usually dispatchers 9 times out of 10 are not involved in our drills. So this was something different and unique in that we involve them. We don't involve them. We don't have civilians call 911 to start our drill out. That just does not occur. So this is something different and unique. So when King County Sheriff got the call, this is a drill, they're like going, what's Redmond Fire doing? So we'll see if I get any roundabout on that one. But so it was to train the dispatchers too, to ask questions.
Yeah.
So about markers and names and that type of stuff, because we don't get as many trail type responses as like East Side Fire, because they got Snoqualmie Pass.
Oh,
They
yeah,
get
yeah.
a lot more type of trail responses.
They get a lot out outside.
You've
Oh,
got
I
a group
bet.
of
Yeah,
plus
of course.
55-year-olds using these trails. You
Right.
could, as we get older, you could end up having more.
Yeah, our ladder truck that showed up with that litter wheel and transported our back pain, neck pain patient out, they were down and outside transporting a patient out a couple of miles into a trail. The patient was
Wow.
350 pounds.
Oh.
But that litter wheel just works
How
fine.
did it feel?
Oh, I'm so glad I didn't have that pie last night.
Oh, yes. I didn't see it, because I had all the other crap.
Yeah, so how did the ride feel?
Well, the only feedback that I would have about it is if I did, I think that, like, it's hard to lie flat
Correct.
like that if you're not used to lying flat.
Backboards are uncomfortable for
Yeah.
everybody.
And they are
just-
uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, and I thought, well, it wasn't terrible. I mean, but if I actually had lower back pain and stuff, I think that would hurt going out.
Right. But imagine what we used to do in the past. You'd have one person in each corner and we would,
Oh, yeah.
Bouncing you along.
I was saying I really enjoyed the
Canopy.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed
Say.
when you first took off, I was standing by and I just turned my head around from the runners and you just picked her up and it tilted this way a little bit and I would have been going,
Does it hold you in a space where if you've got a vertebrae problem, you can't?
No, not really, but the guys were real, they righted it, I was sort of,
Yeah.
they righted it right away.
So you felt
Oh,
secure.
so it's
Oh, I
on a
felt
bike
very
or
secure.
something.
That's
Yeah.
probably an important piece.
I mean, they were pretty strong,
and,
very strong.
and we've taken people out on backboards on the back of a gator before, and that's a really rough ride.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that would be.
Well, I don't know, if you would give something you probably wouldn't administer anything on the ground. You would have to get them to where they're going and then figure out what they needed. But I just thought, I could feel it in my lower back, and I don't have any back pain.
Like I say, yeah, I mean, backboards are uncomfortable for everybody.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, they're not designed.
Yeah, but it was you felt very confident that you were in good hands. Yeah.
You know, what struck me is because just being on the outer edges, it struck me how quiet it was. I said that on the way in, is that everybody was very businesslike. They came in, their voices were all in low tones, and, it wasn't the chaos that people oftentimes see in media and whatever of rescues going on, screaming, yelling, fire, you know, whatever. So I thought that's something that's really important, I would think, is to know, is that it was very calm, very quiet.
Well, usually family members have that dynamic.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
usually
Nobody
family
would let me
members are
do that.
screaming.
Yeah. He said, tone it down.
I did.
Did you ever turn the dog loose?
No.
No.
No,
Oh,
that was,
it was so quiet.
He
It's
was
like, where-
asleep.
I felt like, what was everybody doing? It was so quiet, you know, like, is anybody doing anything?
As the
You know?
friend, in a real situation, as the friend of one of the patients, I would have been more in there.
Right.
Yeah, you would have been right beside me and in
Yeah.
my face, looking at what they're doing and asking questions. and-
well, the lack of noise also helped the dog and the horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having been a horse person, that horse was cool as cucumber.
Mhm.
For starters, you had a good one to be there, but they're usually very, you know, any little noise, they're looking and
Correct.
moving around, and he was just,
Until, when we left, the gator, his eyes went like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But he was good, I mean, he didn't dodge.
well,
or anything.
and I said to the guy driving, I said, good choice of speed when he went by there, because that he went by a lot closer than the bikes that went out. And the horse could actually touch it with his nose, and he just kept it real slow, and that would be the perfect thing to do for a horse.
I was amazed at the amount of equipment that you brought in.
Uh-huh.
Just in the one gator alone, I took a picture of the box back there, and it was impressive. It was big.
You know, medics, when there's medic call, medics have a lot of stuff. And throwing back the C-spine, off the C-spine trains.
Right.
That's why we like having access to the gators, because there is a, packing that by hand, it's a lot of stuff. You've got a distance to go.
And I was surprised how fast you got here. You told me it wouldn't take long at all, but when you said they're up at the golf club storage place, I thought, wow, that's quite a ways away. Yet you were there really fast.
Doesn't take much time.
Where were the bikes? Are they actually in one of the fire trucks that was here? I didn't.
We keep them in our station.
Oh,
So when
okay.
we get dispatched to a trailer response,
You
we
just
throw
grab
them in
them.
the
Right.
rig.
Yep.
Now, if your sirens had been on, there probably would have been more people in the way and stuff. Like, people would have come running or whatever. So I was just wondering how you handle that when you get.
That's pretty much out by the clubhouse. That would be, you know, we don't make any noise when we're in on the trails. You know, bikes don't have
Right.
that.
Right.
There'd be a bigger crowd probably parking.
When we show up at the Cascade Club on calls, nobody comes
Oh,
out.
people pretty much just kind of ignore us.
Oh, it's just been Jack having a heart attack.
They really do.
I hear it too much.
Well, it was interesting though, when we did the run through the other day, at the couple of trucks up there, and you evidently got called on your way out of here because your sirens went on, I could hear you, and there were several people just getting out of their cars, and they said, wow, I saw the fire trucks, what's going on? And then they heard the sirens too, and said, oh my gosh, and relax, it's just a drill.
Yeah, a lot of
We
times,
got a
when-
call.
I would say more than half, 3/4 of the time when we come into Trilogy, we don't use the siren.
Yeah.
Except at the roundabout and at Trilogy Parkway and Novelty, we'll hit the
Right.
siren, but we very seldom use it in the neighborhood.